Hey everybody, Robert the Rogue Draft here, trying to do a new video for wrestling. I decided I was going to start watching old episodes of Raw, and I started back from April 18th. Now I would have started April 11th, the 1 week out from Raw, which was the Raw, the last Raw I didn't see, but my Wi-Fi connection being terrible, decided, no, you don't need to see that. You don't need to see the whole episode. I did catch a bit of it. The bit I caught was, I think it was the Usos getting beat up by Gallows and Anderson, who are apparently from uh, like way back Japanese wrestling kind of guys, which is not bad, but it definitely leaves the door open for new things. But let's get to the Raw I just watched today. April 18th, coming to us live from the United Kingdom, of of which I can say, by the way, not a bad crowd actually. I mean, they're smart. They knew how to make everything work. So, I got notes. um, Raw's open was the Ambrose Asylum. This is Dean Ambrose's talk show. He'd apparently come out the week before, interrupted uh, Jericho's talk show, the highlight reel, and handed him a manifesto from Shane McMahon saying, nope, you're done. Not doing this anymore. We're going to have Dean Ambrose doing his show, the Ambrose Asylum. And Ambrose comes out to bring in Shane and start putting him over. And especially, they start talking about his WrestleMania moment when he leapt from the top of the cell down onto the announce table where Taker had been laying, and he's like, man, I don't know how you did that. Even I'm like, that's crazy, said Ambrose. And Jericho comes out, says this is ridiculous. You're drunk with power. I demand to get my show back. And Shane's like, no, this is a new era of WWE. This is giving new talent the chance to shine, new stuff. We're starting over here. And then Kevin Owens comes out, agrees with Jericho, says Shane's drunk with power, says that he deserves the title shot, not AJ Styles. Sami Zayn's only there because he rode Kevin Owens' coattails. And I like how Sami Zayn, when he came out, was even pointed out. He's like, I got here before you did. The only coattails you think I'm riding is the fact that I was in the title picture. So you're crazy. Things start getting a little tense. Shane calms them down. Says, listen, here's the matches for Payback. It's going to be, and I have it here, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, and Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho. Not bad matches. I actually look forward to looking at the highlights of that. It's about to open up, and the funny part here, and I've written here, Ambrose is strangely obsessed with the house plant he has in there, because he's only got like a little piece of shag carpet, a stool, and a house plant. His sign, or the big thing he has, it's just a poster board that said Ambrose Asylum. It's like, you don't really care about the production value, I guess. All hell breaks loose. They all start fighting each other. Actually, I believe it was Zayn jumping on Jericho and Ambrose hitting Owens. That's how the pairing went off. Cut to commercial, come back, and it's actually the first match of the evening, set by Shane McMahon on Facebook, apparently. Chris Jericho and Sami Zayn. The match wasn't a bad match. It could have been better, I guess, but I really didn't care about Zayn versus Jericho. I really didn't. Uh, Jericho wins dirty with after eye gouging Sami Zayn rather. He hits the code breaker in for the pinfall. That's not clean. Spots of the match. Zayn got hit with a drop kick from the top rope when he jumped with a flying nothing from the top rope. I really don't like the flying nothing. I mean, I understand you gotta set yourself for that spot, but it's just so bad, so bad. But then again, it pales in comparison to the bad spot of this match. That is probably one of the worst spots of the evening. Uh, Zayn jumps through, does that run from the opposite side, jump through the second rope into a DDT on Jericho. It didn't look natural. It looked bad. I didn't like it. Moving on. The next match is part of the tag team tournament for the number one contendership for the tag team titles, sponsored by Bootios. They JBL, Michael Cole, and Byron Saxton never miss an opportunity to remind you that it's brought to you by Bootios, which isn't a real cereal. So take that for what you will. Enzo and Cass come out, and they're going to be wrestling the Dudleys. They apparently had been, talking smack back and forth with Raw before. I didn't see it, but Enzo, and this match showed it. Enzo doesn't have a lot of skill against guys bigger than him. He's not tougher. It's not like Dean Ambrose where fighting Brock Lesnar, where, yeah, we know Brock can squish you, but Dean just won't stop getting up. That's just the thing. And this was my quote of the night. This was the best luck. Enzo says before the Dudleys come out, "We're like A-cups. We're here whether you like us or not." That kind of anti-heel, anti-face sort of in-between shit usually doesn't play with me, but these guys pull it off well enough that I don't care. And it really shows in the whole match where Enzo is getting squashed. There's just no offense that he can mount against the Dudley Boys. But he manages to tag in Big Cass, and Big Cass just wrecks. Big Cass can wrestle. I will give him that. It's nice to watch him work. But this was another thing I wrote down. The Dudleys smack talk while beating down Enzo, and there was a point where, at the very beginning of the match, Bubba's like, "You want a piece of this guy? You want to destroy him? Please destroy him." Enzo and Cass win. Enzo gets launched into Bubba Ray for the pinfall. Their finisher is where Big Cass picks up Enzo and throws him at people. It's high risk, I'll give them that. It's not safe to do it that way, but it's safer than a lot of the other finishers. And I'll get to my thoughts on teamwork finishers later. Next we have Roman Reigns comes out to cut a promo, and he starts out and this is going to apparently be his new line. I'm not a good guy. I'm not a bad guy, but I am the guy. And then he starts putting over AJ Styles, saying, "Oh, he's a great technical wrestler. He's been a champion in a lot of things, but he's never won here. I'm just gonna crush him. I'm gonna bring the big fight." It's AJ Styles come out and they talk to each other. At the end, AJ gets the last word, rolls out of the ring. He's halfway up the ramp, and Gallows and Anderson, who are apparently his friends, and we'd seen it a little bit earlier in the evening, they come out and they beat down on Roman Reigns. There was one part that I wrote down. Anderson has Reigns up over his shoulders, and Gallows punts him in the face. That is dangerous. I thought they outlawed head kicking, but apparently not. Styles turns around with a "Really, what the fuck are you guys doing?" look on his face. Backstage, AJ Styles confronts Roman Reigns, saying he didn't know that that was going to happen. Reigns comes back with, "They're your friends. How can you say that?" He's like, "Yeah, they're my friends, but I didn't set this up." The retort is either prove that that this wasn't a thing, or change the story you're selling, because I don't care. Bring your friends. It's one versus all here. Here. Next, we get a Charlotte promo. She's interviewed with Ric Flair, and her line, "You're worse than Dr. Phil," or "You're just as bad as Dr. Phil." It's like everybody's calling you out that you can't win clean. Natalya interrupts and lets Charlotte know there will be a rematch at Payback for the WWE Women's Championship, Women's title, whatever. And Bret the Hitman Hart is going to be there at ringside to equalize. I haven't seen a whole lot of the highlights from Payback. The only thing I really saw was that Enzo, they thought he broke his neck and ended up having a concussion. I can't wait to see that match. I really want to see that, because later in the evening is the second tag team tourney semi-final match, and I'll get to that. Who they face, who Enzo and Cass face, they're really good heels. I love them. I really do. Next, we have a 4-on-4 women's tag team match. Natalya, Becky Lynch, Paige, and Sasha Banks versus Charlotte, Tamina and Naomi, and Summer Rae. There was a couple spots. Becky Lynch hits Naomi and Tamina while they're outside, just kind of cross bodies, and they're both down. And then you have Charlotte coming over, and Natalya jumps on her, just basically like clotheslines her. And this is a thing I hated. And it happened later in the match, where when Charlotte gets hit and tries to sell it like she's been steamrolled, she rolls back up onto her shoulder and then flops her legs back down. It's like she goes almost completely vertical and then back down. No! If you're going to do it, if you're going to sell the fact that you've been steamrolled, either, completely quickly, "Oh, I'm down, my legs flopped up," because I went that hard. Like my legs kicked up. Or, and this is better, you completely 180, just I got rolled onto my stomach. That's better. The end of the match actually happens because Charlotte gets the hot tag, jumps in, and gets clotheslined so hard she rolled up onto her shoulders like that again. and then Natalia puts her in the sharpshooter, and Charlotte taps. It wasn't a bad match, like I said. It could have done better, but I don't think that some of the women in the women's division. I mean, there are those like Naomi and Charlotte that are that China-esque. I'm big, I'm powerful, I can do this sort of wrestlers. And then there are wrestlers like Summer Rae and Becky Lynch who are not bruisers. They're not tough. And that was another thing. JBL made the it was I'm sorry, it was Byron Saxton. Byron made the observation that Naomi could have been in the APA again. I like that. It's like, okay, call back to the fact that you were a wrestler. Really make that known. We get a scene before the next match of AJ in between Gallows and Anderson, and he's berating them. They're all going back and forth, and then smash cut to Shane McMahon with the Usos, just chatting it up, fist bumping all. I'm like, what the? I wrote this too. Vaudevillains. They're a new tag team. Their entrance is hilarious because it's all black and white. They're supposed to be these old school technical wrestlers that are really, really strong. Their whole taglines is, "This is how real men fight. This is how real men handle stuff." The Usos come back out and bring back color. It's a number one contenders tourney match. There was because I don't really know them yet, and I really hope to get to know the Vaudevillains because they seem like a really good new heel kind of tag team where the Dudleys have done it all. They really have, and I don't hate the Dudleys because I remember them back from when I watched wrestling, The Rock and Mankind and Stone Cold Steve Austin, that kind of wrestling. But I like the new heel coming in. It's good stuff. There was a spot where one of them does a flying nothing into an Uso kick. Uso just chin kicks him. Super kick. They spill outside. One of them, both of them go after one of the Usos, and then Jay, who's hurt Uso, he got the shoulder because last week he'd gotten attacked by Gallows and Anderson. He jumps out there, cross bodies both of them. That's when the Vaudevillains win by exploiting Jay's injured shoulder. They start doing shoulder work. They run him into the pole. I am not a fan of their finisher because it's like I think it's like a snapmare or an Irish whip. They basically whip your neck over and you end up back on your feet, and then the other one kind of just twist a fate. I like teamwork finishers though. I really do. I think that by having that kind of we are a team, we are working together. This is not just me doing my own finisher and then you get your own. We're meshing it. That's good stuff. Next, we get a Miz TV spot saying that he's going to Miz is going to interview the number one contender, AJ Styles, on SmackDown. Don't care. Then we have the Kevin Owens Dean Ambrose brawl. This is the main event. I have written here. JBL can't pick a side between extolling Shane's positives and his hard-on for the Authority. Because there was a point he's like, no, Shane's a complete screw-up. He's ruining everything, although he's not doing terrible, and I really miss the Authority. I wish they were back. That was a line that he said. What are you doing? Why? this is there's a couple spots. Late in the match, they were both down on their knees, and they start trading blows to get back up to their feet. Ambrose is sent outside. Kevin Owens does this frog splash onto Owens outside, and I thought Ambrose was done. I thought that was it. He beats the 10 count only to get kicked in the face. Like I said, this whole match is just a fight. A dirty fight. A knockdown, drag-out brawl. Because that's the character they've crafted for Dean Ambrose. That's fine. The crowd loves it, and they love Ambrose. So, I wrote here, somehow Dean Ambrose superplexes Kevin Owens, and they're dead. Because, and the reason I say somehow he does it, Dean Ambrose is a skinny guy. He's got that wiry strength. But Kevin Owens is a blob. He's not in bad shape. That's the thing that kind of gets me. It's like he's not picturesque strong. He's not muscular. He's just, I'm here. I'm solid. You're not going through me. But Ambrose somehow manages to superplex Owens, and they sell it like they've both died. Ambrose covers his arm over, just kind of flops it on there. Only gets a 2 count. There was a spot where Owens tried to hit that pop-up powerbomb he's got, which I'd like him to get a name for, because it's a good finisher. But Ambrose counters, flips him back into it, and Owens super kicks him, just poof, out of nowhere. After a 2 count, Owens tries a second frog splash and is countered. He then misses a second another cannonball. He's rolled up for a 2 count. Ambrose hits the Dirty Deeds, only to win and get hit by a code breaker when Jericho just magically appears. That's a thing. I like the way that this match went. It felt like they were fighting. It really did. It felt like they were button heads, which is why this was a great main event. But the I'm going to show up out of nowhere thing needs to stop. I haven't seen any more Raws yet, and I will do more of them. If you guys like, comment, and subscribe, that gives me the feedback I need. I don't know. I really want to see, to be honest, if I have to pick something I would like to see more see more of, I'd like to see the Authority return. I'd like to see at least Triple H, if not Stephanie. Stephanie could, be back there butting heads with Shane, and that would be great. I hope to see that in the coming, the coming up times, the coming up Raws. And like I said, I'll just keep watching Raw and recording these. So, thanks for watching.